Hey everybody, I'm Lyle. Welcome back to LPD TV. And I'm out here today, beautiful day, Queen's Park in New Westminster, British Columbia. And I've got a guy here with me I'm going to introduce you to in a second. He's got a super awesome motorbike and it just catches your eye. Totally just made my jaw drop when I first saw it. And I went and talked to him and asked if he'd be interested in coming on my channel. And he said, yeah, that sounds like some fun. So I'm going to just turn the camera around. I'm going to introduce him. And we'll take a look at his bike. He goes by Fast Eddie. So let me just turn the camera around here. I'll introduce you to Fast Eddie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Fast Eddie. I'm the owner of this 1996 Kawasaki P1. It was basically done in 1998 as a complete show bike. Everything was done. The frame was polished. The paint job is just immaculate. Basically, what they call the paint job is a Mexican fire. So it actually changes up from this burnt orange to the green. And the more sunshine it gets, the greener it gets. And it's got so much flake underneath it. It's an 8-layer paint job. And for being over 25 years old, the paint has held up just incredible. It's such a lovely bike to ride, and it gets so much attention come summertime. There's been a few little add-ons and stuff like that that I've changed it over and completely made it a street bike now instead of a show bike. It took a little over a year of just going through everything and replacing so much, sitting for 15 years. But it was such a nice bike, and I've been a Kawasaki guy since I was just a kid. I used to race the Cowies back in the late 80s. For whole shot Kawasaki at the time, and so I've always had a love for these Kawasaki's, especially these ZX7Rs. This is probably one of the nicest examples around, except for if you had it completely still custom with all the original paint and stuff. But for a bike the way it is, it's just an incredible bike.
Absolutely gorgeous, Eddie. Can you tell me a little bit about your NOS system you've got on here?
Yeah, basically the NOS is the NOS at the time was hooked up. We've discontinued the NOS on it now, so it's just there for show. The bike has a little over 40,000 kilometers on it now, and my mechanics up at Imperial Motorcycle told me it probably wouldn't be advisable to hook back up the NOS. So we actually disconnected it just so that we wouldn't have any issues with the motor. Not that it needs a whole lot of more power. It's got a really nice Muzzy pipe on it too. That just sounds incredible. It was between the Yosh and the Muzzy back in the day for the nicest sounding pipe. And it's got that lime green windscreen on it that are really hard to find now. It's the same material that was made, that they make the glow sticks out of. So the more sunshine it gets, the brighter it gets. And the rim of it literally lights up like there's a light underneath it, but there isn't. And it actually holds the nice bright color for at least 3 to 4 hours after darkness even.
Wow.
Before it actually starts to lighten up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and with the P1, the distinction from the P1s are these cat eyes, they call them, teardrops. It was the first year that they did the teardrops in these Kawasaki ZX7s, and then they did those right up until I think it was 2003. So all the P models have them. Before that, they were all circular headlights. So I thought that's the one thing that really caught my eye. And then basically when this thing was painted, they ended up painting the rims, they painted the rotors, they painted everything that they possibly could in the same Mexican fire color, where it literally changes from a green to a burnt orange depending on how the sun hits it. It's not a super sunny day today, otherwise it would be so like just this bright green, which I just love that color. And there's so much flake in them. I was downtown a couple of weeks back, and there were these two older ladies, probably close to 80, that walked past me. And all I could hear them say out of the giggle was, "Oh my God, it sparkles." And it sort of like I said, the bike just draws everybody's attention, especially when it is super, super sunny out.
Oh, for sure, man.
So, and it's actually got the matching helmet. The thing was done right out. It got so many first places in the 2 years that they were showing it for paint, just for everything about the bike itself, that when I seen it here about 5 years ago, I just had to get it. But like I said, with it being sitting around for so many years, by the time I went through and got everything done to it, it was probably about a year in the making to get it right.
So this thing is, what year is it again?
It's a 1996.
96. Okay. And that was the first year they came out with
No, that's the first year that they actually come out with the cat's eyes or the teardrop headlights. Before that, they were completely circle headlights. The very first one of these, the ones that I had when I was racing out at Westwood, was the 89. They come out with the ZX7, and that's really what got me hooked to these ZX7Rs. Is that very first one that they come out with back in 89, and I had one of those. I wish I would have kept it because of the value of that they are right now and just how nice they are. But the closest thing I could get, I've had a couple other ones. I've had a 95, which I still have in the garage. And then I've got this 96, but this is by far my favorite to ride.
Yeah, you let me, you opened your garage door there just for 2 seconds, and you let me take a peek at your 95. And with the round headlights, and that thing is just in fantastic shape too. I'm gonna have to come back and do another episode with that bike someday soon here in the future. But I was gonna ask, I haven't heard of Muzzy in like 20 years, man.
Here, I'm gonna fire this thing up for you.
Yeah,
so
if
that
you don't mind.
can actually hear this. It sounds just incredible.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Wow. It literally sounds like an exotic car.
Yeah, man.
Like you get that same sort of feel of the exotic car. And when you're in tunnel situations, there's nothing better than a Muzzy pipe. It just turns heads. Sometimes it's so loud, I'm afraid I might get like one of those vehicle inspections to get the thing decibel limited, but that hasn't happened yet, touch wood.
Right.
But yeah, no, it sounds super, super nice. It's got such a growl to it. Yeah, it's quite the hot bike for sure.
Yeah. No, and I can't believe the meticulous detail. Even they did the paint on the rims and everything. All the caps have chrome on them. Absolutely gorgeous. What a beautiful bike. Wow. Stunning. Absolutely fantastic. My channel obviously is about bikes and cars, and as you know, if you've seen any of my stuff, I kind of like to ask my guests what they like to listen to. So, Eddie, music-wise, do you got anything?
Yeah, music-wise, I'm into the older stuff from the 70s and from the 80s. I like my AC/DC, my Metallica. I don't mind Nickelback. They got a few catchy tunes. But I've got an ultra classic Harley that I ride around with my grandkids on. And the stereo on that thing is, it's incredible. And just to listen to super loud music when you're riding these things is a breeze. Yeah. But I do enjoy my older 70s and 80s music.
Very cool.
I'm not particular on what kind.
Yeah.
As long as it's got a bit of a catchiness to it.
Sure. Very cool, man. So, are you from Vancouver? Whereabouts are you from?
I was born in Edmonton, and I come here in 1980. As soon as I was old enough to leave the house, I did. I got here in 1980, and I've been riding bikes here ever since, just because the weather is so nice here. We get to ride year-round, where most places you don't really get to ride year-round.
What first got you into motorbikes?
I think it was just me and my buddies, just with the dirt bikes back in the 1970s. They were easy to obtain, and there was wide open spaces. And then from there, I just progressed to street bikes. And come the mid-1980s, there was so many of us that we all decided that we'd try racing out at Westwood. So we all ended up getting into the Kawasaki's, and we all got sponsored by Whole Shot and Pacific Rim and Tire at the time, and a bunch of other sponsors, and it helped us to basically go out there and race. And once they closed down Westwood, it pushed a lot of us back onto the street, which is where a lot of issues came with tickets and that sort of stuff. So there was a few years where I couldn't ride the bike. And then once I got my license back, then I've had my bikes ever since.
Very cool. How many have you got in total?
I had 6 just up until recently. I just lost a BMW K1200S to an accident. Somebody turned left in front of me. I broke the top of my foot, but they wrote the bike off, ripped the whole front end of it off. So that one was gone. We just got rid of a Hayabusa, which was a nice one, a 2008, lots of horsepower. Yep. So it's basically, I had NSR 250R. It was a really nice MC18 that I just sold to a friend of mine. So yeah, it's no, I've had a really nice selection of bikes, but I usually like to try and keep 5 or 6 bikes in the garage, and I usually like to try and insure 3 bikes at a time, so I have the choice to jump from one bike to another bike to another bike.
Right. Man, I just can't believe this fire on this paint. It's like
the Mexican fire. It's just incredible. And
stunning.
like I said, when it's super sunny out, that's all you see is the green, and there's so much sparkle underneath all of that.
Yeah.
But the paint job itself is 8 layers.
Wow.
And for being well over 25 years old, it's held up just incredible.
Oh, it's stunning. Like for that old, and there's not a lot of flaws. I see the odd bruise and the odd ding.
Now things are starting to happen because now it's more of a street bike, and I'm not so worried about the condition anymore. So, and because I ride so much, I put about 30,000 kilometers in just city riding per year on the different bikes. So
wow.
I try and be out every day when I can.
Yeah. Wow.
Even though with my age, it doesn't really affect me how cramped and stuff some of the bikes are.
Very, very cool,
I'm
man.
lucky that way health-wise.
Yeah.
And I've been retired for the last 20 years, just enjoying life. I used to own a sport card store back in the day.
A sport card.
Yeah,
cards
baseball, hockey, football.
Wow, man.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I had the store for 14 years. It was called Sport Card Heaven until my wife passed away in 2002. And then with having the 2 kids, I closed the store in 2003.
Yeah.
Just because it was becoming too much with having to raise the kids on my own and have this store and everything else.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
Basically, I've retired since then.
Right. Well, man. Yeah. Oh, this is just such a
life.
Yeah. Well, this is such a treat. I'm so honored to have your bike and Eddie, to meet you and have you on my channel. And been a real pleasure getting to learn a little bit about this.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. It's such a nice bike. I love showing it about. I go downtown almost every day.
Yeah.
Just because that's where the people are. And like I said, come summer, this thing has such a vivid green to it.
Yeah.
It just pops.
Yeah.
And then as it gets a little darker and as the sun changes, it literally, depending on how you look at it, it will literally go from this beautiful green to this really nice burnt orange. So it's just a chameleon, basically.
Wow. Absolutely stunning.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and with all the polishing that went on, like every single piece that could be polished got polished.
Yeah.
That's why you get so much glare off of it. But there was so much detail spent on making this bike. I think with all the video and all the pictures I got when I bought the bike from the fella, it looks like they probably spent about 4 months putting this bike together. And it was the guys up at Burnaby Kawasaki that did all of the work. It was Rick that had did it all. Back in the day, so just an incredible job.
Yeah, Rick did an amazing job. How did you first come upon the bike?
I was looking for something to foolishly spend my money on, and I ended up going on Craigslist, and I had come across this bike. And as soon as I seen it, I knew I had to get it.
Yeah.
There's not many of these ZX7s that even come up for sale, so when they do, you sort of got to jump on them when you have a chance. Yeah. And this thing was so nice that it. I just had to get it. Yeah. $7,500 was such a good price for it. Wow. With everything that's been done, I've got the paperwork just for the paint job alone was over $8,500, and that was back in 1998. So just the paint is worth more than I paid for the bike. But after a year of spending $8,000 to $10,000 just putting it all back to where it should be, getting it to run properly, just getting it to be the beast that it is now, it was definitely worthwhile.
Very cool.
Yeah. A friend of mine had a 5-way bypass, so he had a whole bunch of bikes that he was selling, and I just went up and bought them all.
Come peek over the edge here, over the tank, and look at my camera. No, from back there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's see if I can get a picture of you.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I see. Yeah. No worries.
Yeah, man. Very, very cool.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you like it, and I'm glad that you wanted to come out and do a video on it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
I love showing it off.
Yeah.
So,
well, absolutely
that's
stunning.
What it was meant to do. It's not meant to sit in somebody's garage or somebody's living room.
Right.
Basically, get out there and ride what you got.
Yeah.
Life is too short to be, not doing what you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So, and all the time that you push off not riding is just time that you've lost riding.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah.
Eddie,
no problem.
I just wanted to say... Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to say to any of my viewers, if anyone's checking this out, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to do something with my channel and grow a following. If you do, it helps me, get in touch with more people like this to bring you some more interesting content and some very cool bikes and cars. And please do that. Hit subscribe. And feel free to share, tag any of your friends, or share it with them, and we'll kind of go from there. Again, Eddie, I just want to say thanks.
No problem at all. No problem at all, buddy. It was an honor to do it. Like I said, I can even fire this thing up one last time for you, just so that you got that little bit of noise just before we go. There's not too many people to piss off here. Sounds incredible. Just like a full-on exotic car.
Oh, yeah.
So
there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Fast Eddie.
Yeah, no worries at all, buddy.
And your beautiful ZX7.
Yeah, no worries at all. So
okay, guys.
Everybody subscribe and check your little like button and help with his content. So
thanks,
we'll
guys.
Just promote him.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye for now.
Very much. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks. Bye.